What if your body, yes, your body, held the secret to unlocking enlightenment? Imagine a practice so ancient, born in India's mystical heart, and carried to Tibet's rugged peaks by legends like Padmasambhava and Naropa, that could transform your breath, your pulse, into a path to the divine. Welcome to the dual body practice of Tibetan Buddhism, a hidden gem that unites mind, body, and spirit in a dance of awakening. Curious? You should be. Why has this practice captivated seekers for centuries, and how can it speak to you today? In this video, we'll unravel its origins, its power, and its promise for your own journey. Stick with us to discover a truth that might just change the way you see yourself. And hey, what do you think enlightenment feels like? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start this journey together. The Lotus Flame. Origins of the dual body. In the twilight of a world where mountains kiss the sky and the winds whisper secrets older than time, the dual body practice of Tibetan Buddhism emerged, a radiant thread in the vast tapestry of the Dharma. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of a Himalayan cliff, the air sharp with the scent of pine and the faint echo of a monk's chant drifting from a hidden monastery. Your heart stirs, doesn't it? There's something alive in that moment, a pull toward the infinite, a spark that makes you wonder, what is this path, and how did it come to be? Let's journey together, not just through history but through the pulsing life of a practice that wove itself from the ancient soils of India to the rugged peaks of Tibet, carried by visionaries like Padmasambhava and Naropa, whose lives burn like beacons in the fog of time. Stay with me, for this is no mere recounting. It's a story that will tug at your soul, urging you to lean closer, to feel the heartbeat of the Dharma itself. Long before the snows of Tibet cradled this practice, its roots sank deep into the fertile ground of Indian Tantra, where the sacred and the human danced as one. Picture the 8th century, a time when India was a cauldron of spiritual exploration. Tantric masters, their eyes alight with the fire of realization, sought not to escape the body but to embrace it as a vessel for awakening. The dual body practice, though not yet named as such, was born in this crucible, a method to unite the physical and the subtle, the form and the formless, in a dance of divine polarity. These early tantrikas understood something profound. The body is not a prison but a temple, and within its chambers the masculine and feminine energies, the sun and moon, could be harmonized to touch the infinite. Doesn't that stir something in you? The idea that your very breath, your very flesh, could be a bridge to enlightenment? Hold that thought, because this spark of insight would soon travel north, carried by a figure whose name still echoes like thunder, Padmasambhava. As the sun dipped below the horizon of India's spiritual landscape, Padmasambhava, known to Tibetans as Guru Rinpoche, stepped into the story, his presence like a comet blazing across a starless night. Born of a lotus, or so the legends say, he was no ordinary teacher. His eyes saw beyond the veil of illusion, and his heart burned with a mission to plant the Dharma in the wild, untamed land of Tibet. In the 8th century, when King Trisong Detsen invited him to the land of snows, Padmasambhava brought with him the seeds of Tantra, including the nascent practices that would evolve into the dual body method. Imagine him trekking through treacherous passes, his robes billowing in the wind, his mind a treasury of teachings from India's greatest sages. He wasn't just carrying texts or rituals, he was carrying a vision, a way to transform the raw human experience into a path to liberation. Can you feel the weight of that moment? The courage it took to bring such radical ideas to a land steeped in its own ancient traditions. You're already part of this journey, aren't you? Let's follow him further. In Tibet, Padmasambhava found a people hungry for wisdom, but bound by the fierce spirits of their rugged terrain. The dual body practice, in its early form, was not yet a structured path but a living transmission, passed from master to disciple in whispers and meditations under starlit skies. Padmasambhava, with his consort Yeshe Tsogyal, embodied the very principles of this practice. The union of wisdom and compassion, the interplay of energies that mirrored the cosmos itself. Their partnership wasn't just a personal bond, it was a teaching, a living mandala that showed how two forces, seemingly separate, could merge into a single, radiant truth. Picture Yeshe Tsogyal, her gaze steady as a mountain lake, channeling the feminine divine as she meditated alongside Guru Rinpoche. Their practice was a fire that warmed the cold Tibetan nights, drawing disciples who yearned to understand. How could the body, so fragile and fleeting, become a gateway to the eternal? And that question pulls at you, doesn't it? It's the same question that has drawn seekers for centuries, and it's why you're still here, reading, wondering what comes next. As Padmasambhava's teachings took root, the dual body practice began to find its shape, like a river carving its path through stone. But it was not until the arrival of another towering figure, Naropa, that the practice would gain the precision and depth that would define it for generations. Naropa, a scholar turned yogi, was a man who walked the razor's edge between intellect and transcendence. In the 11th century, he left the hallowed halls of Nalanda University, driven by a restless hunger for truth that books alone could not satisfy. His story is one of surrender and transformation, and it's impossible not to feel a thrill at the thought of it. Imagine Naropa, his robes tattered, his body weary from years of seeking, standing before his teacher Tilopa, who demanded not just his mind but his very ego. Through trials that would break most spirits, leaping into fires, enduring betrayal, facing his own fears, Naropa learned the essence of the dual body practice. To unite the gross and subtle energies within, to see the body as a microcosm of the universe. Doesn't that image grip you? The idea that through discipline, through facing the raw truth of existence, you could awaken something vast within yourself. Naropa's realization was not just personal, it was a gift to the world. He codified the teachings, blending the esoteric practices of Indian Tantra with the unique spirit of Tibet. The dual body practice, under his guidance, became a structured path, a way to harness the body's energies through meditation, visualization, and breath. He taught his disciples, including the great Marpa, to see the body as a mandala, where every nerve, every pulse, was a point of divine connection. The masculine and feminine energies, symbolized in deities like Vajrayogini and Chakrasamvara, were not abstract concepts, but living forces within the practitioner. Can you sense the power in that? The idea that you, right now, carry within you the same potential that Naropa saw in his students? It's a thought that makes you want to pause, to breathe, to feel the possibility humming in your veins. And that's exactly what Naropa's teachings did. They lit a fire that spread through Tibet, carried by lineages that would preserve the dual body practice like a sacred flame. As we trace this path, from the vibrant chaos of Indian Tantra to the stark beauty of Tibet, it's clear that the dual body practice is more than a technique. It's a living bridge between worlds. Padmasambhava planted the seed, Naropa shaped it, and their disciples carried it forward, each adding their own breath to the flame. But the story doesn't end here. The practice evolved, weaving itself into the fabric of Tibetan Buddhism, adapting to the needs of a people who lived in the shadow of eternity. What was it about this practice that captivated so many? Why did it endure, even as empires rose and fell? The answer lies not just in history but in the heart of the practice itself. a call to embrace the body, the mind, and the spirit as one. You feel it too, don't you? That urge to know more, to follow this thread deeper into the mystery. Stay with me, because the journey has only just begun, and the next steps will take us into the heart of Tibet's spiritual revolution, where the dual body practice would find its fullest expression. The mountain Mandala, Tibet's sacred dance. The wind howls through the valleys of Tibet, carrying the echoes of Padmasambhava's chants and Naropa's fierce resolve. But the story of the dual body practice is far from finished. You're still here, aren't you? Caught in the rhythm of this tale, your heart quickening as we venture deeper into the land of snows, where the Dharma took root like a lotus in stone. The practice that began as a spark in India's tantric fires now burned brighter, shaped by the hands of Tibet's great masters and the spirit of a people who saw divinity in every peak and prayer. Imagine standing in a hidden cave, its walls adorned with ancient thenkas, the air thick with the scent of butter lamps. You can almost hear the low hum of mantras, feel the pulse of a tradition coming alive. Let's walk this path together, tracing how the dual body practice wove itself into Tibet's soul, pulling you closer to a truth that feels both ancient and achingly alive. As Padmasambhava's teachings spread, Tibet became a crucible for transformation. The dual body practice, still fluid in its early days, found fertile ground among a people who lived in harmony with the raw forces of nature. Tibetans saw the world as alive. Mountains were deities, rivers were veins of the earth. And the idea that the human body could mirror this sacred cosmos resonated deeply. The practice wasn't just a ritual. It was a way to align the self with the universe, to dance with the energies that pulsed through both flesh and stars. Can you feel that connection? The way your own breath seems to echo the wind outside. The way your heartbeat might sync with the rhythm of a distant drum. This was the genius of the dual body practice. It made the vast intimate, the divine personal. And in the hands of Tibet's emerging lineages, it began to take on a life of its own. Enter Marpa, the disciple of Naropa, a man whose life was a bridge between worlds. Picture him, a rugged Tibetan translator, journeying to India with nothing but determination and a thirst for wisdom. His teacher, Naropa, had distilled the essence of the dual body practice into a series of profound techniques, visualizations, breathwork, and meditations that united the body's subtle channels with the mind's boundless clarity. Marpa drank deeply from this well, enduring hardships that would make your spine tingle. Scorching deserts, bandit-ridden paths, and the weight of carrying a foreign teaching back to his homeland. But Marpa was no mere courier. He was a forge, tempering Naropa's teachings with the fierce spirit of Tibet. Doesn't that image grip you? A lone man, his heart ablaze, bringing a practice that could awaken the divine within every practitioner? You can't help but lean in, wondering how he turned those teachings into a legacy. Back in Tibet, Marpa's teachings gave the dual body practice a new form, like a river finding its banks. He founded the Kagyu lineage, a tradition that would become a pillar of Tibetan Buddhism, and within it, the dual body practice flourished. Marpa taught his disciples, most notably Milarepa, to see the body as a mandala of energy, where the masculine and feminine forces, symbolized by deities like Havadra and Nairatmya, could be harmonized through meditation. The practice was rigorous, demanding focus, discipline, and an unflinching willingness to face the self. Milarepa, Tibet's beloved yogi poet, embodied this path. Imagine him meditating in a freezing cave, his body clad only in thin cotton, sustained by nettles and the fire of his practice. His songs, still sung today, speak of the dual body as a dance of bliss and emptiness, a union that dissolves the illusion of separation. Can you hear his voice in your mind, soft yet piercing, urging you to look within? It's a call that echoes through time, pulling you deeper into this story. The dual body practice, now firmly rooted in Tibet, began to evolve with the land's unique spirit. Monasteries sprang up like lotuses in the high plateaus, their walls alive with murals of deities in embrace, each image a teaching of unity and balance. The practice wasn't reserved for monks alone. It reached lay practitioners, who saw in it a way to sanctify their daily lives. Farmers, herders, and artisans learned to visualize their bodies as temples, their breath as an offering to the divine. This democratization of the practice, wasn't it revolutionary? The idea that anyone, not just the elite, could touch enlightenment through their own flesh and spirit. It's a thought that makes you pause, doesn't it? To think that the same potential lies within you, waiting to be awakened. And that's what kept the practice alive, its promise of liberation, not in some distant realm, but right here, in the pulse of the present. As the centuries unfolded, the dual body practice wove itself into the fabric of Tibet's spiritual life, carried by lineages like the Nyingma, Kagyu, and later the Gelug. Each added its own hue to the tapestry, refining techniques, composing texts, and building rituals that made the practice accessible yet profound. The great masters, Longchenpa, Tsongkhapa, and others, saw the dual body not as an end but as a doorway, a path to realizing the unity of all things. They taught practitioners to balance the energies of wisdom and compassion, to see the interplay of form and emptiness as a reflection of the ultimate truth. Doesn't that idea spark something in you? The notion that every step, every breath, could be a meditation, a movement toward awakening. It's a thread that runs through the Dharma, and it's why this practice endured, even as Tibet faced storms of change. But the story doesn't pause here. The dual body practice, now a living tradition, was about to face new challenges and opportunities, as Tibet opened to the wider world and the teachings began to travel beyond the Himalayas. What would happen when this ancient wisdom met new lands, new minds, new hearts? You're curious, aren't you? That same curiosity that kept you reading, that made you stay through the winds of Tibet and the songs of Milarepa, it's pulling you forward. The next steps of this journey will take us beyond the mountains, into a world where the dual body practice would shine anew, its light undimmed by time. Stay with me, for the tale is far from over, and the truths it holds are closer than you think. The boundless breath, awakening beyond the peaks. The mountains of Tibet fade into the distance, but the pulse of the dual body practice beats stronger than ever, its rhythm now echoing far beyond the snow-capped peaks. You're still here, aren't you? Caught in the current of this story, your heart tethered to the wisdom of Padmasambhava, Naropa, Marpa, and Milarepa, each a star guiding us through the vast night of the Dharma. Now, imagine standing at the edge of the world, where the ancient meets the modern, where the teachings of a rugged land touch hearts in distant cities and quiet villages. The dual body practice, once cradled in Tibet's sacred valleys, is ready to leap into new horizons, and you're right here to witness it. Can you feel the anticipation, the thrill of a tradition stretching its wings? Let's follow this path as it weaves through time and space, pulling you deeper into a truth that feels as close as your own breath. As Tibet's monasteries hummed with the chants of the dual body practice, the world beyond the Himalayas began to stir. The 20th century brought winds of change. Traders, explorers, and spiritual seekers carried whispers of Tibet's wisdom to the West and beyond. The practice, with its promise of uniting body and spirit, masculine and feminine, found fertile ground in hearts yearning for meaning amidst modernity's chaos. Picture a young seeker in a bustling city, their life a whirl of noise and distraction, stumbling upon a text by Milarepa or a teaching from the Kagyu lineage. The words spark something, a longing to reconnect with the sacred within. Doesn't that resonate with you? That moment when a single idea, a single practice, shifts the way you see yourself. The dual body practice, with its roots in Padmasambhava's visions and Naropa's trials, became a beacon for those seeking to bridge the mundane and the divine. The practice's journey beyond Tibet wasn't without challenges. As it crossed borders, it faced new languages, cultures, and skepticism. Yet, the great masters who carried it, figures like Chogyam Trungpa and the Dalai Lama, knew its essence was universal. Trungpa, with his fearless spirit, brought the Dharma to the West, teaching the dual body practice not as an exotic ritual, but as a living path to awakening. He spoke of the body as a sacred vessel, its energies a map to enlightenment, and his words lit fires in the hearts of students from London to Boulder. Imagine sitting in one of his talks, the room alive with curiosity, as he describes the dance of wisdom and compassion within you. Can you feel the electricity of that moment? It's the same energy that carried the practice forward, adapting its forms, visualizations, meditations, deity practices, to resonate with new minds while preserving its core. In this global flowering, the dual body practice found new expressions. In the West, practitioners blended it with modern insights, seeing the masculine and feminine energies not just as spiritual symbols but as archetypes within the psyche. Psychologists and meditators alike marveled at its depth, its ability to heal the fragmentation of modern life. In Asia, from Japan to Thailand, the practice wove into existing Buddhist traditions, its emphasis on the body as a temple, echoing Zen's mindfulness and Theravada's breathwork. Yet, no matter the culture, the practice retained its heart. The union of opposites, the realization that within your own form lies the potential for awakening. Doesn't that idea grip you? The thought that this ancient wisdom, born in India's tantric fires and honed in Tibet's rugged embrace, could speak to you right now, wherever you are. The legacy of Padmasambhava and Naropa lives on in every practitioner who breathes life into the dual body practice. From the caves of Milarepa to the meditation halls of modern centers, the teachings endure, carried by lineages that stretch like golden threads across time. Today, you might find a teacher guiding students through visualizations of Vajrayogini, her fiery form a reminder of the fierce compassion within. Or you might see a layperson, in a quiet corner of their home, practicing the subtle breathwork Naropa once taught, their body a mandala of light. The practice is alive, evolving, yet rooted in the same truth that Padmasambhava whispered to Yeshe Tsogyal under Tibet's starry skies, that the body, the mind, the spirit are one, and in their union lies liberation. Can you feel it calling to you? That quiet voice urging you to look within, to see the sacred in your own pulse? As we stand at the end of this journey, the mountains of Tibet still loom in the heart, their peaks a reminder of the heights we can reach. The dual body practice, born in India, shaped by Padmasambhava, Naropa, Marpa, and countless others, is more than a history. It's a living invitation. It asks you to embrace your body as a temple, your breath as a prayer, your life as a path to awakening. You've followed this story, haven't you? From the tantric fires of India to the snowy peaks of Tibet, to the modern world where the Dharma shines anew. And now, the question lingers. What will you do with this spark? Will you let it kindle something within you, a curiosity, a practice, a step toward the infinite? The path is here waiting, as close as your next breath. And though this tale ends, its truth does not. It lives in you, in the dance of energies, in the promise of a body made divine.